The Denver Nuggets, 8-3 in their last 11 games after another dominant performance versus the Atlanta Hawks last night. The Nuggets are trending up, and Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic seem to find maybe an even better chemistry than Ryan Blackburn and Swipa, some have said. I don't think so. Also, Jamal Murray since December 1st. Are we getting All-Star Murray back again? Love to see it. Look, and the All-Star votes, they're in. Jokic, is he the face of the Western Conference now? Y'all, there's so much to get into. Ryan, Swipa, Locked On NBA, Locked On Nuggets. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swipa. Ryan is with me today, my brother in arms, my brother from another mother. Shout out to y'all. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I haven't seen you in so long. It's been since the turn of the year. I hope y'all having a fantastic start to your year. Y'all, this is Locked On Nuggets, man. This is the best place to get your Denver Nuggets content. Y'all, make sure Ryan Blackburn, and Matt Moore, they do a great free daily newsletter. Make sure y'all tap into that at lockedondaily.com. Ryan is one of the best writers that I know, and I know that he provides great content there for you every single day. Y'all, we're here to talk about the Denver Nuggets after they win versus the Atlanta Hawks, and they are 8-3 in the last 11 games. Ryan Blackburn, the team is on the up and up. The team is winning. Things seem to be moving in the right direction. How are you feeling about how the Nuggets have been playing as of late?
I'm feeling good. And you want to know why I'm feeling good? I'm feeling good because Michael Malone did the thing last night, the slightly performative thing last night where, hey, can't just win with offense, man. Got to win with defense. The Nuggets are now at that stage of the season where they get to choose how they win basketball games. Swipa, which means you know that they're back. They're back. They're on track. Everything's okay. Yes, Aaron Gordon has been hurt. Yes, they're still they do have to figure out the defense, of course, but I am not as worried about that. I'm worried about the process, about them figuring out the offense. They have figured it out. Russell Westbrook looks great with Denver, and I just think that they are fully on track for what they need to accomplish over the course of the next 3 months or so. They're pacing pretty well. They have turned a little bit of a corner here, and I'm not going to get the Thomas Shelby haircut, but I was pretty close. I was pretty close at that.
What's their record since we did that?
I think it's 6-3. It might be 6-2. I don't remember exactly which game it was after. I actually don't remember. Does anybody have that in the comments? Like a live tally of when that game was that we decided to make this bet? Because I know that they didn't go 9-1. Like they've lost more than one game since we did it. I know that for sure.
So that might have been. Maybe it was after the Blazers game, or because it was after a Thursday show. So they played the Hawks. I think it was before the Clippers game, maybe.
Before the Clippers game. Let's take a look.
So 1-1, they're 4-1, 4-3. They're 7-3 since that.
That looks like 7-3 to me. And here's the thing: we were both on track with that. I predicted 7-3. I thought that was about where they would go. You were more on the 9-1 side, thinking that they would really turn the corner.
Those gosh darn Blazers.
Those gosh darn Blazers. And they lost to Cleveland. Not really a surprise. They also lost the second game against the Phoenix Suns when they went on there for Christmas. Not really surprised about that either. So 7-3 is about where they should be, if I'm being honest. This is about what they're starting to look like, starting to feel like, and I'm curious to see where they go from here. Melody is dead in the comments, says Celtics will be a measuring stick. This is nice. I agree. I agree that they've gotten on track. Now we can start to see where they need to go from here.
Yeah, I'm actually really kind of excited about how things have turned. And so what I did is, if you go back the past 15 games for the Denver Nuggets, the Nuggets are 9-6 in total, but the Nuggets over that stretch, have the number 2 offense in the NBA behind the Cleveland Cavaliers by 0.1. They're at a 119.14. Now, the defensive rating is atrocious, 114.3.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's 6th in the NBA net rating. So I think they're finding their stride offensively. And what I do like about what the team is doing, they seem to be getting more and more confident as the year goes on. And they're just finding ways to continue to, I think, maximize their offensive personnel. And I do think that the execution and effort on the other end will come. And also this point right here from Nolan, 44 assists last night, Ryan Blackburn.
That's wild.
If I remember correctly, somebody fact correct me on this. I think this could be the 4th or 3rd game they've had 44 assists this year. If I remember. I don't know what the exact number is, but they've had multiple games this year 44 or more.
So what I did do last night, as somebody asked me, hey, are they on pace to like break a franchise record in assists? And they are. They were on, I think the franchise record is 2482 for a season. And I believe that they're on pace for more than like 2570 for the entire year, the 2,570 assists, which is crazy. That's a ton of assists. They're leading the league this year. They have been sharing the ball. Russell Westbrook has added a different dynamic to that, where he has pushed the pace and put them into a position where, while Jokic is a great fulcrum himself, Russell Westbrook can spray around the ball as well. And like the best thing that he does is he gets the ball to Jokic better than anybody that we've seen. So it's been awesome. Been awesome to see that. And I just think that Denver, the offense is back. The offense is there. They will go through some dry spells at some point, but I do think that overall the stuff that we were seeing at the beginning of the year, you remember the Clippers game, second game of the season, where they just couldn't score. And that is where I think they get more distressed than if they can't defend. If they can't score, then you know that it's bad.
Yeah, and then they also have 2 games above 40 assists this year. So they have multiple 40 assist games this year, which is insane. They have 5 games with 38 or more assists this season,
Jesus,
which is just wild. So again, they're taking free throws at an just crazy rate. They're not converting them a lot, but yesterday they were 21 of 21 from the free throw line, which is exceptional, especially for a team that hasn't hit them for whatever reason all year. And I think we're going to talk about Jamal Murray a lot lately, but what I like is that they're finding ways to utilize the personnel they do have. And you know what? I understand why Peyton Watson isn't starting right now, because I think they only have 1 true 4 on the roster, and he's not even a true 4. So I get it. No AG. You want to try to mitigate that a little bit. But what Russ has added to this roster in terms of the passing, the playmaking, the driving, the transition game,
pace,
their offense has been wildly efficient and so dynamic with Russ, even without providing any real spacing as a shooter. And I think because the Nuggets have really empowered him to be a ball handler and to be a decision maker as well. And what it's done, I think it's caused like an infectious attitude with the team that everybody just wants to run. They want to be involved in the offense. They want to cut. They want to do the right things. And I think as time goes on over the season, Ryan, this to me is just a small microcosm of, I think, a larger story for the Nuggets, is that I think everybody's buying in to this rumble, get it, and go mentality. And honestly, Ryan, even in the half court, they have been annihilating teams in the half court, including the Cleveland Cavaliers. The problem is they just haven't been able to guard it all in the half court on the other end for several different reasons. But they're just doing everything that I think you would hope they would do right now. They're playing highly efficient basketball. They're taking care of the ball at times better than what they have all year. But I think the hard part is, Ryan, when you have a team that passes the ball as much as they do, it's hard to do that. But look, do you realize that over the last 15 games, the Nuggets have a 70.8 assist percentage? Like,
I've got a better number for you.
Let me hear this.
So cleaning the glass, they filter out garbage time. They do a really good job of making sure you're getting the valuable, like, plus minus data of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
When Murray, Porter, Jokic, and Russell Westbrook are on the floor this year, they've played 307 possessions. 145.6 offensive rating. 145. That is in the 100th percentile. Yes, they're in the 36th percentile in defense during that time, but I don't care. Like when you're scoring 145 points per 100 possession, Swipa, you don't have to play great defense. You don't have to play as locked in as you need to be when you can score going down the floor every single possession. It just is a different feeling. And look, I know that they'll have to turn around the defense at some point. They're going to have to get it locked in. That is how you work at this in stages. But 145, man, that's crazy. And just having multiple playmakers and shooters and talented offensive players on the floor at the same time, it really does feel like the Nuggets offense has turned a corner specifically. They know what they're supposed to do on that end of the floor. And now it's about figuring out how to incorporate defense over the course of time.
Yeah, and again, by the way, y'all, last 15 games, the Nuggets are the most efficient offense in basketball across the board. 58.8 effective field goal percentage, which is just bonkers. They're lighting everybody up. On the other side, we're going to talk about a particular duo, the dynamic duo. I'm not talking about Ryan and Swipa. Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic. Wow. Something that we have stumbled on this year that's made this team even better. We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending a concert last year. Facts. I got a chance to see Maxwell in person last year. It was crazy. Jasmine Sullivan was there too. The energy and excitement were unforgettable. But see, the thing is, Gametime has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filtered out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Again, even for me, I was recently looking up, trying to find ways to get to see the Nuggets play the Atlanta Hawks here in Atlanta, watching Jasmine Sullivan, looking at the Kendrick Lamar tickets. I'm going to keep bringing that up so y'all know if you want to get me something for my birthday, this is what y'all need to get me. And with Gametime Picks, I found amazing deals that could even see the view from my seat before buying. The super deal was particularly impressive, though, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So, y'all, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON. NBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Ryan, what time is it?
It's game time.
We'll be right back for more at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the second segment here at Locked On Nugget. This is your host, Swipa, with the one and only Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Chartburn. Y'all, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, share, and subscribe. We are on the way to 10,000 subscribers, y'all. We're at about 8,400 subscribers. We have grown like crazy this year. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers. I know we got it in them. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just press the button. Let's get where we need to go. And if you're listening to this on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can hear about the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. Now, Ryan, I'm going to let you take over because I feel like I've talked about this an awful lot. Please tell me, what have you been noticing about Nikola Jokic and Russell Westbrook?
You know what's funny about it, man? Like, you've got two great playmakers. You've got two great passers, two great scorers. And I figured that, look, Jokic is super adaptable. Jokic knows how to work different guys in. I definitely think my wife loves me and my kids love me. Thanks, Swipa. Thanks, Ryan. Love it. No, so I know how adaptable the Jokic is. I was not expecting Westbrook to be this adaptable. I have always seen his game prior to him being with the Nuggets as something that is a little bit rigid. It's the style that he wants to play. It's the pace of play that he wants to have. He needs to have the ball in his hands, things like that. It hasn't been like that with Denver. He has adapted way better to the Nuggets style of play than I've ever expected him to. But the key thing that I think Denver and like the way that they've been able to survive when Murray wasn't doing as well, when they're trying to figure out how to play together, is that Russell Westbrook force feeds the ball to Jokic and makes sure that he shoots. He makes sure that he puts them into great position to score the basketball. Usage rate without Russell Westbrook on the floor, Jokic is at about 27. With Russ on, it's like a 33. And that to me shows like Russ knows exactly where the bread is buttered, like how the goose is cooked. He knows how to get the ball to the best player and put him into position where he can shoot and he can score, because it gets Russ an assist and it gets the team points. Like, it makes a lot of sense. And the way that they have made it work, I really feel like I wasn't expecting it at the beginning of the year. And I definitely know that Russ has adapted, and he has been an extremely talented player who knows what he's supposed to do for this team and has filled his role to a T.
You're welcome, Brian Blackburn. Most welcome. Russell Westbrook. I remember having discussions about Russ in the offseason. People were like, well, he won't do it. He won't work. He's going to do what he wants to do. Not from Ryan. But you got to give it to him the way he wants it, or else he's not going to adapt. He's not going to do this and that. I'm like, I just haven't heard that about Russ. I've only heard that Russ is a great teammate, that Russ wants to win. Russ wants to do his job. And you know what the great part about Russell Westbrook is, Ryan?
What?
He's an adapter. Remember early season? He was trying to find a way to integrate himself. He was shooting the ball probably a little bit too much in some spaces. And even like as of 3 weeks ago, still forcing some shots up. The great thing about Russ is that Russ has been like, all right, I know how my bread is buttered. I know how the easiest way to play in this team. And I also know there's some things they need that I do that nobody else can do on this roster.
True.
So let me do my job. Let me scale back the things that we don't need. And then therefore, boom. It's like that meme of the guy, like he goes like this, and then the meme breaks out into the universe and into the stars. Everything gets figured out. Russ has been so dynamic and so incredible on a lower shot volume, because now every shot he takes is intentional and it's purposeful. And I love that about Russ. Russ's passing is so freaking good. And the chemistry that he's developed with Jokic is so great, because he's played so much basketball, more than Joker. He's played with even more talented players than Joker has. He's won an MVP. He's played with Kevin Durant. He's played with LeBron, Anthony Davis, James Harden. He's seen all of this stuff. And so Russ is able, even with Jokic, to telegraph only to Jokic where Jokic needs to be on the court. And Jokic, because he's a supercomputer, looks at Russ, and they can just talk to each other without saying anything. And you see some of the most spectacular passes that you could see between a guard and a big. So this is, again, the Nuggets are the 2005 offense in 2024. They're last in the NBA in three-point attempts, even though they're very efficient, but they're leading the NBA in terms of how many shots they're shooting at the rim and layups and dunks. So they're going after the most efficient shots at great efficiency. And then Russ is also helping them to do that. They're number one in free throw attempts in the NBA, number one in transition in the NBA. Christian Brown, it's the second most dynamic transition scorer in the league behind Giannis. And a lot of this has to do with Russ. I think Russ deserves so much credit for being willing to adjust, but also infecting this team with competitiveness, with drive, with consistency, with effort, and with this dog-like mentality that says, I'm going to do what I can to try to win every single possession. And Russ has been great. And he's honestly offset Joker's load of having to do everything all the time for this team emotionally. And now that Jamal's come back, this is where I'm really excited, Ryan. Jamal is back playing Jamal basketball, and Russ is playing even better than he did prior to this. I think you put all this together, they're headed towards something special.
I think it's important to make sure that this is not an oppositional thing between Russ and Jamal, and that those guys can obviously work well together. They each can get some time with Joker. They each can get some time without Joker. Like, this is going to be an interesting thing, and how the Nuggets are going to have to manage their rotation. Eventually, like, Aaron's going to come back. They're going to really start to try to lock in on winning time. Russ is going to have his own spots that he gets to be strong with Joker, but he's also probably going to go back to the bench. And it's going to be fascinating to see how he handles that, how the Nuggets handle that. Are they going to kind of shape their rotation to make sure that Jokic and Russ are playing as much time as possible, and then Jamal is still staggering with the bench and Russ isn't out there, things like that? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know what it's going to look like. But what I do know is where it looks good. And Russ looks good with Joker. The team looks good with Joker. You mentioned the rim attempts. You know what's more valuable than a three-pointer in the NBA? A shot at the rim. Like, it is just like a dunk or a layup. Those are still more valuable because you finish those at a 65% clip, and it's better than like a 41% three-pointer. That's just how it is. So Denver, if they can continue to abuse the rim, if they can continue to put pressure, there will be opportunities. I do think that, and we talked about this last night, it does kind of coincide with Aaron not being out there that Russ and Joker are doing well. I wonder what the spacing, what the dynamics are going to look like when Russ and Aaron are sharing the floor as well. But I'm still impressed with what's happening, of course. The Nuggets have options now, and that's the most important thing. It felt like heading into the season, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what kind of options they had. We thought the starters would be good, but we didn't know about anything else. Now, Russell Westbrook feels like a player that can help Denver in the playoffs, and that's the most important thing.
On the other side, we're going to talk about Jamal Murray, and we're going to talk about the All-Star voting, because I think there's a lot of things trending up, and I think Jamal Murray is at the top of the list of things trending up. We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet if it wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I have loved betting on which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score. Yo, it's so much fun. It's thrilling. But guess what? Not only can you bet who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which player will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll be right back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment of Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swipa, with his brother, Ryan Blackburn. Y'all, and we're going to talk about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, he rightly gets flack. Yeah. And I'll say that. I was leading the charge. I had Jamal Murray ranked as the top 20 player after the 2022-23 season. I was higher on him than the mini consensus. The Ringer had him about 18 or so. But I've also said Jamal Murray is one of the best guards in the league when it matters most. He hasn't played up to that level for a large majority of the year since the playoffs and early season. But Ryan, if you're going to criticize, you got to give respect when respect is due. For everybody that doesn't know, if you haven't been on my Twitter, if you're not on my Twitter, what are you doing? This is fun and excitement every day. Okay. Jamal Murray, last 12 games since the start of December 1st, 21.9 points per game, 6.3 assists per game, 3.8 rebounds per game. Jamal Murray is shooting 46.5% from the field. He's shooting 42.2% from three, and he's shooting 92.3% from the free throw line. And he's a positive on average at a plus 1.8 or 1.5 per game since that point as well, while also being the main engine of the second unit when Russ is in the game with Joker as well. Look, man, Jamal has turned up. His three-point shot has turned around. His handles and his playmaking has been very good as of late. He got downhill against Onyeka Okongwu yesterday in a heavy bink, took him to the rack, finished over him play. And then he took DeAndre Hunter and finished around DeAndre Hunter and stuff as well yesterday, man. He had 27 points and 11 assists on good efficiency versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look, man, we're getting to the point. We're stacking good games from Murray, and I think we're at the turnaround point. I think Murray is back.
Did he ever leave? That's I think a fair question. Like, is this always who he has been? Is this always like he was always going to start in October and November and be pretty slow, and then December, I guess it's finally time to turn it up, and let's see how it goes. Let's see, and he's just putting up the numbers that you expect him to put up, putting up the numbers there. You get to a pretty consistent place. You understand what it's supposed to be. I do think that, yes, he deserves credit. I do think like 1.7 steals, 0.9 blocks during that stretch as well. Yeah. Like the defense has been better with him. I know a lot of people are going to, and I criticized him for the way he looked when he was getting switched on to Donovan Mitchell in that Cleveland game, and how Donovan was just sort of hunting him. There's a lot of times where that is going to happen, and the Nuggets are going to have to live with it if they want Murray's best offense. But he does have a really hard job, and it always has been. That's like, it's both easy and very difficult, because it's easy because he gets to play with Jokic. He gets to play with Jokic a lot. He gets to riff off of him. As much attention as Jokic takes and helps Murray get to the spots that he wants to get to, Murray still takes some pretty tough shots, and he makes them at a pretty high level. The other thing is he's going to be asked to carry the load when Jokic is not out there. Even when Russ has been out there, what Michael Malone has wanted to do is play Russ as often as possible with Jokic and then stagger Murray. And usually it is Murray and 4 bench guys right now, which we've seen can be pretty tough. So will that change in the playoffs where they get Aaron Gordon back and he'll stagger with the second unit as well? Will they stagger Michael Porter in addition to that? How are they going to work it? I don't really know, but I do think that the version of Murray that we saw last year that was healthy during the regular season, when he was healthy, when he was playing well, that's about what we're seeing now. Now, he kind of burned fans that were basically saying, hey, he's just going to show up in the playoffs. He's just going to be the best that he can be. Is it going to be good enough this time around? Like, what is he going to provide? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. But if you assume that he was hurt and that he will not be hurt this time around, then I think you can expect some pretty great things from Jamal in the playoffs, because every time that he's been healthy heading into the playoffs, he's been dynamic.
Yeah, and, the chat don't want to, me to address the chat because, I'm not mad, I'm not Ryan. I'll come at your neck type rip. I think that anybody that is still like on that Murray stuff and, trade Murray and all that stuff, I think you just need to go ahead and just, dive off a board into some water and just lay in there for a little bit and just let the water hit you. Matter of fact, go get a massage, go get some there's some CBD treatment you can go and find, help calm your nerves and all that kind of stuff.
Cancun sounds pretty good.
Yeah, Murray's been great. I really just, there's no complaint. And I actually said this on Twitter. And Ryan, tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy.
Yep.
I think the Nuggets since December 1st have been getting the best point guard played in the NBA between Russ and Murray. I don't think you're going to find 2 guards on a team giving you what they have both been giving you at point guard in the NBA across the board. And the only other options would be if you want to say the Celtics, they're also like, I think they're like 5-4 in their last 9 games or something like that. So tough luck. They got Peyton Pritchard and Drew Holiday. Derek White's not a point guard. And then you would have like,
I'll put Dallas in there as splitting Kyrie and Luka. Like,
well, Luka hasn't played, bro. Luka hasn't played.
Okay, then Cleveland, I think, is a pretty good
Darius
option.
Garland and Ty Jerome. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's better personally. But
respect to you. For $3 million, I'm saying what you're getting from Russ.
Of course. Like, look, I'm not trying to bemoan what's
is
actually
this
happening.
Russ hate Ryan Blackburn?
God,
Russ cronies, get him.
You're just gonna get me killed. It's gonna happen. Look, hey, they've been great, and it's been awesome to see. And the fact that you can even have that part of the discussion, I think Russ has been certainly a top 5 backup point guard in the NBA. Like, there's no question about that. It's more Murray that I'm saying. Like, he is still lower in threshold than what those other guys are. Like Darius Garland, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kyrie Irving, guys like that. Like, he still has to rise. Like, that is still a thing. He's still not finishing as well in the mid-range.
Well, he looked you in the face and said, if I've always been this way, am I really not been here? So, whatever. Here, before we go, All-Star voting is out, Ryan Blackburn. Don't know if you all got a chance to see this, but fairly interesting results so far. In the Western Conference, leading vote getter in the Western Conference is Nikola Jokic in the first fan returns with 1,422,121 total fan votes. That leads everybody in the Western Conference. And the follow-up right after him is Kevin Durant with 1,268,799 and LeBron James with 1,167,661 votes. The total vote getter that leads the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo with 1,710,630 overall votes. And then you got Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics cartel market, 1,385,851 total votes. So y'all, Brian, are we in a new era? Is this the Jokic, Giannis takeover? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, are they fading to the background?
Should be at this point. Look, I know everybody loves to reminisce over the plenty of years that LeBron, Curry, KD, that those guys have carried the league for a long time. Those guys have been pillars of the NBA. It's time to step aside, man. It has been a long road. You guys have done it for a long time. It is okay to take a step back. And what Jokic is doing, what Giannis is doing, even what Tatum is doing, and Shea especially, those three guys, those four guys, and then add Luka into that list, of course. That has been the pillar of what is going to be the NBA for the next 5 to 7 years. And those battles are going to be tremendous. Those battles are going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how they carry this next era of basketball. Wemby's going to jump up into that, of course. He'll be very much valued for the entire NBA. He's actually, fourth in the Western Conference front court? Fifth behind LeBron and AD and KD. That will change very quickly as well. So between those 5 or 6 guys, the NBA is in a great place for all-star talent, for NBA, all NBA, MVP caliber talents, generational talents. No shortage of it just because LeBron, KD, and Steph are aging out.
Well, you know what? Not just the all-star voting, Ryan, but I've been seeing a lot of propaganda, SGA MVP stuff. And I get it. I understand. He's been scoring at an incredible level. I think he's well deserving of the conversation. But you know what? You know what Jokic said? They tried to write me off. I ain't right back, though. Shout out Geno Smith. 23, 17, and 15 in 3 quarters after coming off a 36, 22, and 11 game. Joker said, you tried to write me off. I ain't right back. MV4 on the way. 4th in the Western Conference. Keep winning. Keep moving, keep going up. No matter what Ryan Blackburn says, I believe he's going to win his 4th. And the Nuggets, they going to be back in that title game when it matters most. Y'all, this is Swipa. That's Ryan Blackburn. This is where you get your real truth. Y'all know what time it is. See you on the other side. Out.
Okay.